Do you have achy, painful knees when you play pickleball? Welcome to part 2 of Broken to Bulletproof, talking about the knees. Last week we started super mellow to get you out of broken. Let's talk about some movements to get you back to baseline. First, let me address the elephant in the room. Have you given up hope because you have bad knees? I get it. Knees are kind of a touchy subject. You ask 100 different people, you get 100 different answers about what you're supposed to do and what's possible. But this is about keeping it simple and leaning on some core ideas. Strengthening the tissues that move your knees, broadly speaking, is going to be a good idea for the vast majority of the people most of the time. There will, of course, be exceptions, but I think that's enough. Let's move on. Last week, for the front of the knee, we started super simple with a step down. We're going to migrate to the other end of the equation with some deep knee bend. Definitely start on something elevated, and ideally you have some hand support so you can perfectly temper how much pressure you put on this deep knee bend. So if we start with support, the first goal would just be to get hands free. Slowly but surely, you can lower the riser peg by peg. You can start to increase the volume and start to get a really good pump on that working leg. From there, you can add a bit of weight. A really good goal would be to get down to, let's call this a 10 to 12 inch riser. I've got some medium-sized dumbbells in my hands, and I'm going super controlled, good little pause in the base, patient, methodical, accessing full range in that front knee. And to be clear, that journey could take you many months. For the back of the knee, a great bet is a hamstring machine. Almost all gyms on earth are going to have one of these. And I get it. There's folks out there who debate the functionality or the applicability to strength training, but we're talking building a baseline. We're talking about blood flow. We're talking about restoring the basic tissue integrity. And this is a great tool to begin that journey. The beauty of this machine, it's very simple. Start light and pump away. Squeeze, hold, control down, get a mild stretch, and repeat. You can scale this up by adding a bit of weight. Once you're feeling confident, I'm a huge fan of doing these one leg at a time. You'd be surprised at how different they might feel. We're continuing to look at the hips and how it relates to knee function. In my opinion, this groin movement is a big winner. I have lost track of how many people I've worked with that have some level of knee pain that also struggle like crazy with tightness in the hips in this movement. Get some moderate-sized dumbbells, relax into a mellow stretch, squeeze up a couple inches, and repeat. It's not a huge range, so ideally you get a bit more volume. I'm typically shooting for between 15 and 20 reps. In time, as you acclimate and get heavier, you'll notice you start to get access to new range. And you might be surprised at how much this relates to the overall feeling of not only your hips, but your knees as well. Simply by getting more access to your hips. Feeling really good with these movements would be a reasonable correlation to having some good baseline knee function. Next week, we're gonna move on to the Holy Land, bulletproof knees. Follow me for more bulletproof pickleball tips.